Do you feel depressed all the time, or do you just feel like people don't respect you enough? Well, chances are if you still stay with your parents, this could be all because of them. When I was growing up, my father was always emotionally unavailable. Whenever I needed something from him, he would either scold or shout at me for virtually no reason. And as you can probably guess, this made me hate my life. This kept happening to the point where even I became emotionally distant myself, and I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care what he said to me or even what happened to him. Because I'd lost all respect for him, and why should I care about what someone else thinks about me when I don't even respect them? So this, alongside many other things, got me thinking, what are the worst things a parent can do to their children? And so I've researched and compiled 5 signs that your parents are making you depressed. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, they're emotionally unavailable. This simply means that the love just isn't there and you're left all alone in your own thoughts, which could lead you down a very bad path. My father was unfortunately like this. He didn't do anything with me, literally nothing. The only time he called me was when he needed work done for his own needs. And the consequences of this was immeasurable. I grew up with no social skills, a fat ass fucking belly, and a video game addiction. Thanks Dad. This was simply because I lacked a strong father figure. Now obviously I had to find that all out myself, because of course I had to put blood, sweat and tears into figuring out how to break my video game addiction, crafting the perfect physique, and how to actually talk to girls all by myself. But however, I did get help from the internet, and I kid you not, the internet has taught me 5 times more than my father ever has. But after years of working on my flaws, I'm honestly the best I've ever been, and I honestly love life. So, on to the next one. They make you study something that you don't want to. My father only gave me a couple choices. It was either engineering or engineering. A lot of parents nowadays didn't have the same exposure as we did growing up. What I'm saying is your parents might think that going and studying engineering, medical, law is the only way to go about life. I mean, those are all still great if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it and you've been forced onto it by your parents, or even worse, they're putting a lot of pressure onto you to get that degree, then obviously you know why you're depressed, because you're not working on your true purpose. But luckily for you, these days there are countless different ways you can make money doing your own passion, mainly with social media. If you keep posting onto social media and build an audience of your own, you can eventually make a fuck ton of money from that. But if you don't want to do that, then you're gonna have to go through that one awkward conversation with your parents, telling them you don't want to do it. I know that's what you're dreading, isn't it? You don't want to go through that. You don't want to go through that one awkward conversation. I know. I've been there. I've done that. But what you gotta remember is this is for your future self. If you don't take risks now, if you stay in this comfortable... It's not even comfortable. You're not even comfortable right now. You're not comfortable doing any of this. So just go through that 1 hour of pain for a much better future. Alright? On to the next one. Their presence makes you anxious. So when I was growing up, believe it or not, I can't remember a single time I was happy that my dad came home from work. In fact, I would hate it. Whenever I was around him, I would feel so anxious and just tight in my own body like I didn't even belong. I would cower up my own body language and hunch over just because I was that anxious, man. This was because I always felt that he was judging me and my actions. Whenever I would do something wrong, he would be so quick to just shout at me and say how wrong and stupid I am. And because of all this, I developed an inferiority complex. That's when you think you're inferior to everyone around you. I thought I was inferior to not only my dad, but yeah, literally everyone around me. This even affected my relationships with everyone, but what you gotta remember is, this is gonna sound cliche as fuck, but you just have to be strong. You can't have shitty body language and eye contact when speaking to someone who you think is superior to you, because you're just adding on to that label that you put onto yourself. And you're not inferior to anyone. Now, I'm not saying to start up any conversations that you don't want to start. I'm saying If you look scared and nervous in front of them, that will just make it worse. So make sure to stand straight, hold their eye contact for at least more than 2 seconds, and speak loudly and assertive if you need to. And trust me, after you do this, you'll notice a difference in their face straight away, like they just gained a new level of respect for you. Next one, they don't want your independence. Now this one's a real headache. See, a lot of parents nowadays give their children too much freedom, but on the flip side, what if they see your independence as a threat? So they even hold you back from doing certain things like going and staying at your friend's house or something like that. That's a problem. My father always held me back from doing certain things like even going to my friend's house or bringing friends over. And because of that, my social life suffered a lot. But not only that, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how much the average rent cost. I didn't know how to get a job myself. I didn't know how to do anything myself. Because a lot of things in life you gotta experience yourself, and I just simply missed out on all of that. However, being a typical teenager I saw people around me going to parties and stuff, and can you guess what I did? I started lying and hiding stuff from my father. This hurts me to say, but I lied to my father almost every single day straight, just so I didn't have to come back home fast. Now, that I don't need to explain how bad of a dynamic that is, but the longer it goes on for, the harder it will be to open up to them later on. Next one, they're flat out abusive. Now, I don't think I need to explain this one. If your parents are abusive physically or mentally, it's going to be difficult not to be depressed. There's a reason why I stopped talking to my father at like age 7, because every single time I would try to say something to him, it would always end up with him shouting at me. So why the hell should you even bother? They're likely like this because of the way they were brought up during childhood, so it's going to be a very hard trait to knock out of them. I mean, you can definitely try to knock this nasty habit right out of them, but chances are it's not going to work. And then the only thing you can do is move away, move out, work on yourself, improve yourself, and be the best version of yourself. But depending on how bad the relationship actually is, you could ghost them, but I wouldn't recommend that, because it would be much better to work things out with them in the end. But I'm so sorry that you're in this position. Now, I know a lot of these are in your parents' control, but I'd be lying if I said your part in this doesn't matter. I personally advocate that most things that happen in your own life are in your control. So after watching this video, you have to take action on at least one thing I told you, alright? And if you don't, then you honestly aren't allowed to complain about your life. Because you can change your current circumstances. I know it'll be hard, but imagine how much better your life will be. A lot of these types of videos will just tell you you're depressed and just leave you at that without actually helping you. But I'm here to tell you, you can change your life. It just requires a bit of work. But at the end of the day, I know exactly how you feel. No one wants to have terrible relationships with their parents, so I know how shitty you can feel when it doesn't even feel like you have control over your own life. But if you've watched this far, something tells me you're not like the average person. You have potential. You have potential for greatness. Don't let anyone get in the way of that. But if you're looking for a place with people like you and me who went through similar shit, just like you and me, I run a private community called Luxmaxers Academy. Trust me, you won't be depressed if you're in there. It's the first link in the description below if you're interested. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe and share this with a parent that needs it. See ya.